Hi, I'm Joe LaRocca. Welcome back to this segment. I'm with Co-MC Amber Bradley. You can follow her on Twitter at MyCalibration. And of course, you have to follow the D&D Daily at D and all spelled out, DND Daily. And follow the D&D on Twitter. You can find these segments. You can find tons of news information.
And at LaRocca J. Don't forget yours. Come on.
Come on. Get my follower count up. So this segment, I wanted to maybe talk a little bit about the agenda and some of the things coming up.
Still
Amber?
some action-packed value adds here at the D&D LPNN News Network. Here we go. So next up, Gary Johnson, Vice President of Loss Prevention for Vitamin Shoppe. That should be very cool. Talking about workplace violence, and that's a pretty serious topic.
It's a serious topic. You know, we just earlier we're talking with Mark Stindy with 7-Eleven. A lot of stores have issues when the longer you're open and the types of mall shopping centers, outlet centers, etc. Everybody has unique problems, but everybody has one thing in common: the safety of our employees, our customers, and the service providers. And that's a primary focus for retailers. Workplace violence, people think about it in terms of active shooter, but also applies to workplace violence inside the store, domestic disputes, and other issues that might happen.
Yeah, very serious. So will be really interesting to get Gary's take on it, firsthand from a retailer's perspective that has to think about it all the time. I think it's probably one of the biggest nightmares that retail loss prevention and risk face.
That's right.
So next up, then we've got John Wojtyla, a Vice President of Global Loss Prevention and Safety at Office Depot, talking about developing tomorrow's LP leaders today. Should be interesting.
This is really exciting. John is a veteran in the retail industry. He's one of the senior-most leaders, serves on the NRF's Advisory Council, just really has developed a number of people that have moved around the industry into leadership roles, and I'm really looking forward to hearing what he has to tell us about.
Yeah, you think about developing people. It's definitely a common theme, and has been a common theme at NRF Protect this year.
That's right.
I think a lot of this cybersecurity focus, a lot of the experts tend to come down on the fact that, look, if you're not focused on the people, then you may be focused on the wrong things, because most of the breaches and all of these things happen based on human error.
That's right. Well, and the people business has changed over the years. I mean, traditionally, you were looking for a security type or somebody that was great at investigations, and now a good loss prevention person, a well-rounded loss prevention person, is looking at the IT side of the business, the operations side of the business, and with the expansion into global and other marketplaces, even working with the regulatory, the real estate groups, the law groups, etc.
And the whole LP industry, I think, deserves some kudos, right? Because we've been developing some industry standards along the way the last few years with the Loss Prevention Foundation's LPC and LPQ, as well as the International Association of Interviewers CFI certification for all those interviewers out there. And then you have, the ASIS certification and some others. What's your favorite?
I don't know. IAI probably. I'm a huge Wiklander-Zalowski fan.
Me too. Imagine. They actually had a standing room only session at NRF Protect.
I heard.
Yeah,
and it was on Twitter. They did a nice job of.
We blew it up on Twitter.
I saw that.
Well, it was cool because attendees actually were able to walk through a selective interview in the session. I mean, that's like hands-on value.
How do you control the control?
Yes,
right?
That's right.
Exactly.
You know a little something about this, I think.
I don't know.
Okay,
what else is on the agenda?
What else is on the agenda? I knew you were going to ask me that. Okay.
I'm waiting for it. Come on, I'm waiting for it.
So you've got Dr. Richard Hollinger up next. That's your favorite topic. We've been talking the survey all day, haven't we?
Yep. The National Retail Security Survey by Dr. Richard Hollinger with the University of Florida was just recently released. Some very interesting numbers. 100 retailers took the survey this year.
Which is up, right? I mean, from a respondent perspective.
That's pretty significant representation. Shrink is at 1.38% of retail sales, and $44 billion nationwide was reported lost by retailers here in the U.S.
And the staggering one, meaning that the external theft reported is outpacing internal theft.
That's right. Traditionally, we've always heard that the internal numbers ranging in the mid-40s and the external in the low 30s. This year, it actually flipped. So external theft at 38% and internal at 34.5%. So some interesting discussion questions probably for the retail leaders around the country and what's going on.
Yeah, it'll be very cool to hear from Dr. Hollinger himself, Because I'm sure that question's going to come up.
That's right.
It's on everybody's mind. That probably is the burning hashtag
That is the
question
burning hashtag
for
question.
that session, I think.
Yes.
Okay, so then we've got another session hosted by this guy, which will be very cool, that's focused on law enforcement. So you've got several high-ranking officials here to join you.
We have 3 fabulous law enforcement partners. We have Eric Ives, who's a special agent at the FBI headquarters, who really was one of the pioneers in starting the organized retail theft task force within the Bureau, has done a number of different training sessions around the country with retailers. Oh, and by the way, he's a former retailer himself, so he knows the industry.
How cool is that?
Great partner. We also have Captain 3 John Romero with the Los Angeles Police Department's Commercial Crimes Division. He's fairly new to the job, but he is the co-chair of the LaRocca program, the biggest public-private sector partnership in retail here in Los Angeles. Very exciting to have him on board and hearing his perspective. And then, of course, Detective 3 Joe Hopkins, one of my favorite private or public sector partners. Joe makes this program work, period. Joe is part of the CCD program. He collaborates with retailers, law enforcement agencies, constantly on real-time issues and how to make and keep all the wheels working within the LaRocca program. Really excited to have this panel today and being the moderator.
So was LaRocca one of the first? I mean, were they the first type? Because, now they're kind of popping up all over. We have one in Atlanta, there's one in the Northeast, which is all wonderful, right?
Yeah.
So were they kind of the pioneers?
LaRocca, so here's some quick history.
Quick history, here we go.
Public-private sector partnerships are not new. I mean, there's been a number of efforts around the country along the way for decades now. There are those groups out there, but in Albuquerque, New Mexico, there was a program called LPNN, which was a public-private sector partnership with the Albuquerque PD and a number of retailers. And LAPD, and in partnership with a number of retailers and a steering committee in Los Angeles, developed a similar program, taking the best pieces of LPNN programs in other parts of the country in different cities, and really developed a world-class program, and then named it LaOrca, with an Orca at the end. And it is the original Orca in the country. And all the other ones that you see now, you can thank Los Angeles.
Yes.
We are a leader in developing that name. It's very, very exciting.
I'd like to see a logo with a whale in it. Is that silly?
Actually, I think I've seen a whale attached to LaOrca. And either that or people say LaRocca, but it's not LaRocca.
It's not LaRocca.
It's LaOrca.
Although you may want it to be LaRocca at some point.
Well, that'd be great marketing or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Follow at LaOrca J. No, it's at LaRocca J on Twitter.
Is that too much of a coincidence that it's so close to your name?
I really had nothing to do with it.
This is all, we are uncovering the dirt here, LPNN fans, to know that LaRocca really named LaOrca. I think that's the point.
Okay, I'll confess I was in the room. I had nothing to do with the actual name.
He was in the room, though, folks.
I kept my mouth shut because a few people said something.
I am a trained interrogator.
I guess so. Well, it looks like we're going to get the wrap-up signal, so we're going to toss it back over to Gus. I want to thank Amber Bradley at My Calibration.
Thank you,
Co-MCing.
Joe.
It is great working with you.
It is great working
on
with you. This isn't our last one.
It's not, but I get to thank you anyway.
Oh, thank you. Oh, it's a love fest.
So, Gus, we're going to send it back to you.